Well, hey there, folks. This is Jeff from Dead Drift Consulting, and it's been quite a while since I've done any kind of a video for the DDC YouTube page in quite a while. I don't remember when actually the last one was. So, but welcome to the inside of my house. This is my living room. It's hot as fuck outside. It has been for like the last month and a half here in the Phoenix Valley of Arizona. We here in the state did not even get a winter, which is heartbreaking because we all here look forward to the winter the way that someone in the upper Midwest might look forward to the summer every year because we get a break from the heat. Well, this year that really didn't happen. It's been in the low to mid 80s starting in the beginning of February, and this past week we were over 100 all week long. Like low 100s, 104, 105, I think 2 days ago, which is absurd. Maddening is a really good word, especially for someone like me who works outdoors at least 50% of the time that I'm at work. It ain't fun. So anyways, right now it's Saturday the 21st and it is like 3:35 in the afternoon, which means it's about as hot as it's going to get all day right now outside, and I am not going out there because I spent 72 hours at work this week, and half of that literally was outdoors on a range. Anyhow, today's video is I'm not going to do a full review. I'm just going to talk about some of the details and nuances that I've found for a new purchase this year and a huge departure from what I've done in my entire life and when it comes to archery equipment. So today we're going to talk about the Mathews ARC34. That's this guy. This is a very popular bow right now, and it's selling like crazy, especially in this Kodiak brown color, which I really like this Kodiak brown. Prime had one that was called Grizzly Brown more than a few years ago, and I had that one too because I just fell in love with the color. Well, this is selling like gangbusters, and everyone is buying the Kodiak brown color finish on their new ARC 30 or 34. I want to not be part of the giant trend, so I made a decision to go with the Kodiak brown fade to black. So the bottom half below the shelf, it goes to black. You can see that a little, pretty much here. You can see that fade to black right in front of the shelf, and then it extends all the way down to the black limbs, which on the top are Kodiak limbs. So it's kind of unique. It's a little bit different. It allows me, it satisfies my tendency to not want to just buy what everyone else is buying. The other one that they have that I was very attracted to, they have a color called slate, which is a gray. And that actual slate to black fade arguably looks better than the Kodiak to black. And when it comes to, I'll discuss the whole color thing, okay, here in a moment. But I already I have a gray bow. I have the hammered gray riser on a probably 2-year-old Prime RVX 34, and that hammered gray is phenomenal. It looks fantastic. I think it's probably one of the best looking finishes on any bow ever created ever. In the RVX line, they did almost like a second gen version of the hammered gray. The first gen I think was maybe the year prior or 2 years prior. That was the initial launch of the hammered gray, and I thought the initial iteration of hammered gray was better than the second gen, which they put on the RVX. Regardless, I really dig the gray finish. I think it's awesome. But this year I went back to like a Kodiak. This is the Kodiak brown in the Prime. Again, it was called the Grizzly Brown. So anyway, I went back to the brown just because it is very attractive. It is super awesome looking. And I have been gravitating more and more towards solid colors rather than all camouflage stuff. I really like the all camouflage like Mathews does this in the mossy oak bottomland, and I love that pattern. It's just old school, and it brings back a lot of good memories. Levi Morgan's bow is 100%. His honey bow is 100% mossy oak bottomlands, and I thought it looked really great. And in fact, what I asked for, what I wanted initially, was this fade to black riser section in Kodiak brown with the mossy oak bottomland limbs. My local dealer, my guy here at Ross Outdoors in Phoenix, floated that question out to Mathews. They said no. So, okay. So this is what we went with. This is the 34-inch axle version. Now, let me just also say this. The reason why this is such a big deal to me is because this is a Mathews. I am now shooting a Mathews bow. For the last 6 years, I've been shooting, I think 6 years, maybe 7. I've been shooting exclusively prime bows. It started with whatever it was 6 years ago. And then I have a prime inline upstairs, 33-inch bow, I think. And then the RVX34. Those are the last two that I have remaining from prime. I've sold off or traded up from 1 year to the next, because while working at Ross Outdoors in Phoenix here for about 4 years, I had the advantage I had the ability to acquire a new bow every season, which is, until I went to work there, that was never the case. And at this point, it's not going to be the case anymore either. So, but several years ago, 2-3 years ago, I remember shooting one of the Mathews bows that were new for that season. And for the life of me, I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't the Lift or whatever other ones are out there. But I was very impressed, and I was like, I've sworn for a long time, for decades, I don't want to be a Mathews guy. Now, I'm trying not to be, I can't help but to stereotype it, because spending 11 years in the Midwest prior to moving here to Phoenix, the Mathews thing was always like the giant, overbuilt, lifted, super loud, terrible gas mileage pickup truck with the giant Mathews sticker or the giant solo cam sticker across the back of the back windshield of the truck. And I just thought it was comical. It was silly to me. It seemed like too much. I don't mind having a sticker that says Prime or Archery or Mathews or PSE or whomever, Hoyt. I don't mind the sticker, but when it's like the entire ass end of your truck, to me, it just seemed silly. So it biased me against the stereotype. And if I'm offending you right now, sorry, I guess. I don't know. This is just my opinion, and these are my feelings at the time. But there comes a time, and when we as humans, I think, especially men, we mature to a point where little things like that mean less. In both directions. It means less to me that somebody does that, and it means less to the guy that wants to do it. Maybe he just doesn't put the big sticker back there anymore because whatever. Anyway, Mathews impressed me several years ago when I shot one of their bows in the shop. Now, at the time, I did not buy the Mathews. I bought the next iteration of the Prime bows because I really was attracted to Prime's story and the methodology with which they developed their archery equipment. However, in the last couple of years, I've been less impressed with Prime. I'm not into the whole, whatever they call that new riser that has the carbon fiber tubes in it and changed. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. Okay. And here's where I mentioned before, I'll get into the color thing in a little bit. Well, now's that time. Here's the thing. When we as hunters or shooters or whatever hobby, wherever you want to apply this to, when we develop our skill and our passion and our desire to do these things to a certain point, and we start buying at this level. So I'm buying at this Mathews ARC, Hoyt AX3, name the other flagship bow models. It doesn't really matter. When we get to that point, the decision of which bow we buy becomes more dependent upon the intangible things that you can't quantify with a number. Okay, all the speeds are relatively the same. all the way that they shoot are all very dead in the hand, super stable. They point and aim well. They stay on target. No vibration. All of those tangible things are pretty much check boxes. So then it comes down to, well, which one feels best to me? Completely subjective metric, right? I can't say move faster. Faster to me means something different than it does to my 30-year-old son, right? So completely subjective things. So then those intangible things now start to make a difference. If they're all on an even playing field, if they're all basically this is equal to that is equal to that, then it comes down to things like I like the color, I like the way it looks, I like the way the grip feels, I like the fact that I can customize the strings, I like all of these little things that only matter to me. Those become more part of my decision because everything else is pretty much taken care of in the same. So anyhow, I've just been very impressed. When I shot earlier this year, the wow factor was immediate, and I decided to depart from my old ways of never having shot a Mathews bow, not wanting to be a Mathews shooter. Well, this is undeniable. Like, this broke my brain, and I don't feel guilty about it at all. I don't. If anything, I feel a little bit foolish for not having investigated this more deeply in the past. Okay, so this is the ARC34, and I'll go through how I've equipped it. There's a Hamskea R7 arrow rest on it. I'm a big fan of the Hamskeas. I've shot Hamskea rest exclusively for probably the last decade. I'm shooting Mathews overpriced freaking stabilizers and attachment points for those stabilizers. These things are ridiculously expensive, as is your freaking bow quiver. But according to my not personal bow tech, but he's a very close friend and as personal as a bow tech can get for me. This is the one quiver that he has said, the one QD quiver bow quiver that he has seen, that he's never seen one broken. He's never seen one in the shop come in and broken. I don't know. Your experiences out there, I'm sure, are different, or maybe they're not, maybe not. So the Mathews 5-arrow detachable QD quiver. I've got away from Spot Hog and Black Gold this year, again based on the recommendations of my bow tech, and this is the Excel driver. And I've also gone from a 5-pin, which I was a huge proponent of shooting 5-pins. I went to a 3-pin this year. We'll see how that plays out. This thing also has the ARC specific detachable legs. These only work with the ARC series bows. Whatever other leg systems they have will not work or integrate with the ARC limb pockets. And then for the bowstring itself, I understand that like the match string sets that come from the factory at Mathews are very well built. Apparently, they're good, very good strings. I was not willing to wait the 12 to 16 weeks that it would have taken for me to choose this exact bow, but with like going through the bow builder page on the website, then customizing the strings to the colors that I wanted. That alone would have set my bow back an additional 9 to 10 weeks from the ship time that I got this one for. So this is a set of gas strings. That's a departure, a new thing for me also, because I've always used America's Best bowstrings in the past, and apparently there's some shenanigans going on with them when it comes to consistency. I don't know. This is not firsthand information. This is just me being told what people are seeing. So the new gas strings seem to be like the most reliable, durable, consistent thing in the bowstring world right now. So I don't know. We'll see. Other than that, this is an 80-pound limb set. I've been shooting 80 pounds for the last 10 years or so because I'm a short draw archer. Typically, I'm at 27.5 inches on my draw length. This particular bow shoots a little short for me. So this is a 28-inch draw length bow, and it shoots fantastic. So I'm going to shoot it indoors here. I have my target down there. However many yards that is, it doesn't really matter. It's probably 15 yards at the front of the house. I'm going to shoot it so you can hear it, see it, watch it happen. It's arguably the most dead shooting bow I've ever shot in my life. There's zero vibration, there's zero hand shock, there's zero movement from the bow that I can perceive when I shoot the arrow, unless I fuck something up with my release. Then I know it, but I have had like the greatest experience shooting this, and that was important to me too this year, not only in going away from what I have traditionally done in the last 6 or 7 years, but also because I'm excited again to shoot my bow. It's less of a chore. It's not so much of a training, consistency, skill sustainment exercise in the backyard. Now it's more of a desire. It's fun. I'm excited about it. I enjoy the way it feels and how it draws and how it shoots, and the results I get downrange are immediate and like, holy shit. It has exposed a couple of weaknesses of my own with regard to how I release and whatever else, but the entire system is making it easier, simpler to diagnose and then fix the problem. Okay. I'll show you also on my chronograph here. I'll chronograph a couple of arrows so that we can see real-time velocities. I will tell you right now, I am shooting a 465 grain arrow, which for me is a little on the light side, because typically I like to see an arrow somewhere 480 to 500 grains total weight. That's just my preference. That's how I like it to be, and that's what I generally shoot them at. Right now, I'm dropping that speed a little bit just to keep my pin gap close and flatten out my trajectory a little bit. I also shoot fixed blade broadhead, so I've been using the iron will system for years now, and I'm very satisfied. I'm very happy with the quality, the performance, and the flexibility I have to be able to tailor my front end weight to hit a specific front of center percentage number that I feel is important. To me, I like a heavier arrow with more substantial front of center. That's just how I prefer it. So we'll show you that. But right now with the 465 grain arrows, based on a couple of days ago, I'm getting roughly 290, 291 out of this bow at 80 pounds and a 28-inch draw length. Okay. So yeah, let's shoot this thing. You can see the action of the arrow or see the action of the bow post shot and then make your own decisions. It's a very quiet shooting bow. There are no string dampeners on this at all. No monkey tails or no spider legs or none of that shit. You'll be able to actually, hopefully, with the iPhone, hear or not hear what it is that happens when I shoot the bow. Okay, so let's do that. Let me get my arrows here, and a release. So I'm a huge fan of the now no longer produced Easton Pro Comp arrows. I really like the upgraded version of what's basically an ACC, an Easton ACC, which they discontinued also. But these are 4mm arrows, 166 inside diameter. I shoot 340s on the spine, even though I'm at 80 pounds, because I cut them really short. These are 26.5-inch carbon to carbon. And then the point insert system gives me basically 2.5 inches of steel or titanium inside the arrow shaft, which stiffens the entire shaft itself. So I can get away with a lower spine number on the shaft because I'm shooting it shorter and it's getting stiffer anyways. Okay. So we're gonna shoot this. I really like flex veins. All of this information on the arrow building, by the way, is covered at length and in detail on some other videos on the YouTube website. So if you're interested in that, like, feel free. But I like Flex Fletch vanes, and the FFP 360s have been like the ultimate solution to everything broadhead flight related that I've found in the past. So I've gone away from the 4 fletch back to the 3 fletch, and away from a 2.5 or 3 inch vane up to the 3.6 inch FFP 360. They're very durable, they stick well, and they're also pretty quiet, like really pretty, very, very quiet. So, and then I shoot an Ultra View hinge too, because I really like the hinge releases, and this has been a really fantastic release for me. So we're gonna give this a try. Hopefully the camera picks it up and the audio picks up pretty well. And we'll see what we get here on the chronograph as well, so that you guys can, and then I'll show you those numbers right off the screen. So let's do that right now. Okay, hook it up. Okay, so that one says 288. Backwards on the camera, that's awesome. Okay, arrow number 2. To 90.4. Crazy, I forgot to take my reading glasses off, and for the first time ever I've shot in my reading glasses. That doesn't help. Gunny, come here. Move. Good boy. $289 even. Gunny, come here. Move. $290. So a 288, 290, 289, 290. So call it 289 as the average, I guess. 289 and some change. Okay. Yeah, so that's with a 460 grain, 65 grain arrow, 80 pounds at 28 inches. One of the other things I wanted to mention too is this grip system. So this is what do they call it? I have my laptop open right here because I couldn't remember. Okay, so they have what's called, Mathews has what's called the Bond grip system. Now, if you look on the website, it shows you 3 different versions, 3 different models of their grip, and then it says it's $100. I foolishly thought that $100 bought you all 3 grip modules, and then you could mix and match and try them out and see which one worked best. Okay, I was stupid. So, so they have 3 different models. They're called the Engage, the Contour, and the Taper. Okay, so I chose the Contour one because it has a wider, flatter section here for where my hand is going to fit, or my hand sits, right? I want to sit on the meaty part below my thumb right there. So it looks like this when I'm gripping the bow. And I like that wider, flatter sort of a feel to it. I suppose I could shoot with side plates. I haven't tried that much. And in general, I don't know what the Mathews riser looks like underneath that grip. But in the past, I've found that shooting straight off the riser with side plates has been uncomfortable because the riser is in that section is pretty narrow. It's got a pretty narrow throat, and I feel it digging in, and it's distracting to me, and I don't want that. So I don't know what the deal is, but the Bond grip system, this is the contour grip, and it comes like that with that molded in contrasting color section. Obviously, the tan matches the brown color better, but I think you can get them in green and gray and black and white, whatever. So I guess the $100 for the grip seems a little steep, but also if you look at Chris B's site, UltraView, he carries a lot of Mathews centric or specific parts, and his grip system is the same thing, and it's $100 for one grip. So I guess it's keeping in line with whatever. But anyhow, yeah, hopefully you were able to see what you needed to see when it shot and could hear how pretty quiet the whole system is. I don't think it's necessary for me to even put any kind of string dampeners or silencers on the string at all. I don't think that's even necessary, but it's been a great bow. This, by the way, real quick, I already kind of mentioned the stabilizers. This is the 15-inch front bar. I've been shooting a 15-inch bar for quite a while on my bow, and I kind of like it. Is it better than a 12-inch? I don't know. Again, subjective and really a confidence thing. Like what gives you confidence, that's what you should go with, quite honestly. But the 15-inch, and then it's got, this is the Mathews stabilizer that has the little notch that gives you that 7-degree down angle on the front bar. And then the rear, this is a 10-inch rear. And it fits into this great, honestly, these are expensive components, but this is a really ingenious little deal here. It locks into the riser right here, right, with this little thumb screw you can see here. I can remove it completely and put it into the bow case without having to pull the stabilizer out or loosen anything and change any of the angles. But this one giant Allen head nut right here, oh, can't see it, sorry. This one giant Allen head nut right here controls in, out, pronation, supination, if you will, or in whatever. It controls the angle in and out away from the bow, and then also controls the angle up and down. So with this, I can change the angle up and down or in and out with that one bolt. And it's got scales on it, so you can see what you're doing or have a reference mark to the adjustments that you're making. Maybe note those down and reset them, to reset them if you need to, or if you got to move it. Yeah, so anyways, just wrapping up here, I think I'm getting towards that half-hour limit. The Mathews ARC34, this is the Kodiak to black fade color. I hope the lighting is good so you guys can see that, because it is quite gorgeous. The Mathews detachable 5-arrow quiver, front and rear bars, the quick release detach angle adjustment module for the rear bar here, Hamsky R7 arrow rest, Excel driver, 3-pin bridge lock sight, and the gas, I can't remember the model of it, nitro, whatever, I don't know. The gas bowstrings, and I like brighter colors on my strings. That's why I chose what I chose, the blue and the silver. And that's about it. And then these legs, they pop on and off just like this. Like you just take them off, and then they locate inside that little pocket right there. So, yeah, plenty of in-depth, way more knowledgeable bow techy sort of reviews out there. So if you're looking at them and you want more information, you want to hear from an expert who's not just an enthusiastic hobbyist, right? That's me. If you want to hear from an expert, then I would encourage you to look them up. Look up those videos from Elk Shape, Podium Archer. Just ignore the dude's freaking mohawk. He is pretty smart. Just, whatever. Elk Shape, Podium Archer, a bunch of other guys. There's like a freaking shit ton of videos out there about this, because this particular bow is making a lot of waves and has had a hugely positive reception. So anyhow, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me in the living room with my chocolate lab Gunny and my black lab Lola. Where are you? Whatever. I have a black lab Lola that I refer to affectionately as the other woman. Anyway. Okay, thanks folks. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.